What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Please like and subscribe or comment below. Yeah, I want to go over resistance today. And maybe you guys are like familiar with this concept. Maybe you're not. I no longer know what is mainstream and what is not anymore. I live on the internet and you can find anything on the internet. So it's there and you're like, oh, if it's there, I guess people know about this, and they do, but it's getting very strange, isn't it? Where like you don't know what is normal anymore. And I guess like what was normal was just like the culture you were in before. And now more and more we get to choose that culture depending on where we choose to go. So that's interesting. But anyway, resistance. Yeah, this is like something I have been playing with, working with lately. And it's not like a new concept. Like I knew that people are like, oh, if something hurts, you actually like have to lean into the pain. You have to like go through it. You can't avoid, you can't like bypass. It's counterintuitive, but it's only when you like go into the pain that you can then be like released from it. And really this also like ties into acceptance. That's what true acceptance is. Acceptance isn't tolerating. Acceptance isn't like, fine, you can be over there. It's like fully, I wonder where the root word comes from, but like to like you take it in. You don't try to change it. You don't try to get rid of it. Like that's where people get, they think they're fooling it, whatever it is, this system that works in the way that it does when you actually fully accept something. See, when you actually like fully accept something, it lessens in a way. It stops screaming. And it's because you integrate it. And when you integrate something, suddenly it's not like, suddenly you are like more, you are bigger, and that bigger thing can encapsulate this screaming child, you know, because this bigger thing is part of like, is made up of, among many other things, that painful position or whatever it is you hold. But often and I think other people only want to practice non-resistance or practice acceptance as a means to get away from it. And so, yeah, you're trying to trick it. And you're like, okay, little part of me that I really don't like, I'm going to hold you and pretend that I like you so that then you can go away. And inevitably it doesn't work. This is also like the thing where there's just like a there's a natural phenomenon in the world where like you know, I changed my settings and I look so pale right now, but I'm hoping that the color correction will change this. Maybe I'm just this pale, guys. Maybe this is what I really look like. There's a phenomenon where whenever you book a vacation, that's when you get work. Maybe this is like an actor thing, or maybe this is just a universal thing. Yeah, whenever you decide like, you know what, I'm going to Bali, that's when your agent calls you. And so in the past, I've been like, I'm going to Bali. like announcing it to the world, but really hoping that my plans have to change. And yeah, it doesn't work like that. You can't do it like that. It doesn't work like that. You can't do it. So the only real way you can stop resisting, and maybe it's impossible to stop doing anything. I'm not sure. See, I think actually that like all discomfort actually comes from resisting. That's all it is. Like that our natural state is allowing, is like flowing. And it's actually only when we resist things that we feel, yeah, discomfort. Pain isn't the right word, because like pain in and of itself isn't something to resist either. Like pain is good. Pain tells us, ow, that like don't do that again. Pain is fine and pain passes, but it's like it's discomfort, it's unease, it's you know what it is. It's just like it's control and force and judgment and yeah, that's what it is. So I actually think that like all of that just comes down to resistance. And so there's actually not much we need to do. Like we don't actually need to be happy. Our natural state is happy. Our natural state is that, is like, is comfortable, is like ourselves, is connected. And it's just we disconnect because we fight against something that we think isn't supposed to be there. So we go like, I don't like this. And whenever you go, I don't like this, not this, and you push it away, you're like bisecting yourself. You're cutting yourself off from the flow of the universe of whatever this is, of yourself, right? And that applies to aspects of yourself, and then aspects of the world and the life in which you encounter, because anything you see outside of you is an aspect of yourself, actually. Like it's only there in existence in accordance to you. So anything you push up against or you disown, you also disown a part of yourself. And the truth is, like, you don't know what's good for you. Like, you don't know what makes you think that you know what's good or what's bad. What makes you think you know what to judge and what to cut off from? Well, we do. So anyway, how do you not resist, right? Because you can't resist resistance either. And one way, again, you can't be coming from a place of like, yeah, I'm gonna get one over on this resistance thing. You have to like actually allow it. Like get to a place where you're like, this is how it is. This is me, and this is always going to be a part of me. Like, I don't need this to go anywhere, ever. I don't expect it to go anywhere. It just is. And that can be really terrifying, because you think, this is going to be my life. And counterintuitively, we think that, you know, our job is to push away the things that disagree with us, or to bring in the things that do agree with us. You know, that that we're doing it in some way, that, I don't know, that we control what comes into our lives and what goes out through that approval or disapproval. But the truth is, like, it's much more important who you're being in the face of what's going on. And so you're pushing away against something. You are like being disapproval in that moment. And so what you get is more disapproval. Because it's more about being, right? And um and if you approve or allow, you're bringing in more approval and allowance. And it's only when you kind of like, I really like to think of it as that you're perpetually creating an atmosphere or an environment. This was really helpful to me when I was so for the record, guys, like I haven't always been loving. I really thought that love was a, well, I'm not gonna say I really thought, but I was obviously hurt and messed up, and so I took the opinion that love was a concept that we made up, and I didn't really believe in it. And on some level, that's true. It is a concept. But anyway, I could see why I held to it. And what helped me was like I I stated at some point in time that in my presence there was love. So when I was around, there was love. Like, so it wasn't that like I would be loving or that I would receive love. It was like this kind of bubble I envisioned, or like I said, like an atmosphere or an environment. And I think that's what's really helpful in this situation is it's like you, instead of thinking of yourself as like a self, think of yourself as like a, yeah, as like a space. Because that's, I'm not going to say that's like more true, but I'm going to say that could be much more useful. Okay. That if instead of thinking of yourself as like a solid thing that is, you're more of a space. And within that space, things come up, things move, things change, things are, things be, whatever. Okay. And so instead of worrying about the things that are out there or the things that are in here, right? And thinking, okay, we gotta weed this garden, or like, okay, we gotta control this, stamp this down. Like, you want to be much more concerned in what the actual space and environment of you is, and and at the end of the day, it's not that you want to live in a garden without weeds. You want to live in a garden that you think is beautiful, that like the space agrees is beautiful. And the way you get there isn't through getting rid of the weeds. It's through like investing in the perception of it as beautiful, or just investing in the acceptance of it, really, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So instead of being like, I want it to be beautiful, why isn't it beautiful, I'm gonna make it beautiful, ask to see it as beauty. Like, ask to see it in a way in which it's good just as it is. And strangely, like that's when it transforms, because now you've created this space, right? This environment that can breathe, that can move, that is like that flows, that has like life and sustenance, as opposed to an environment before that was like tight and rigid and angry and upset. Does that make sense? So I'm just like practicing this a lot and kind of breaking down everything I encounter that I'm like, right, I have pushed against this. I have been like, no, I'm not gonna deal with that over there. I don't like that. I don't want to be that. I'm not that. I'm better than that. I should be better than that. I'm really just paying attention to whenever I feel a kind of rigidity or resistance to anything. And I acknowledge that, you know, it's right. That thing out there has every right to be there, and is a part of me. And my job isn't to get rid of it. My job is to integrate it, right? Is to see it as it actually is, which is important or valid or necessary. I think I'm gonna have to do another video on this one because this is big, and I don't know. There's a lot that I could talk about, and there's like a lot that I could go into more detail in terms of emotions. I think is really useful. Emotions and judgments and anger and sadness and just life situations too that I've kind of talked about, but like, yeah, I'm gonna go into this with more specific details and circumstances. So also, guys, I do want to say too, if there's something that you would like me to talk about, and now I want to make it very clear, like, I don't have answers, because ultimately you all hold the answers that you need. And if you come across me and something I say is useful, it's only useful, you're only able to hear it because like you're at that level. And so you've actually helped yourself, and you just used me as a vessel to hear what you needed to hear. Okay, I really sincerely believe that and mean that. But also, if you want me to talk about something, please let me know, write a comment below, because this is, as much as like it's me talking to a camera, it is a dialogue, and I want to instill that and create that as much as possible. So please write below any, I don't know, just any like topics or questions, and I would love to dig into that. Okay. I love you.